It is 7:14 on a Tuesday morning. Michael pours himself a cup of coffee. The house is quiet. His wife has already left. His daughter is still asleep upstairs. Before getting dressed, he does what millions do every single morning. He checks his phone. A headline catches his eye. The average 45-year-old is worth nearly $1 million. He reads it twice, then a third time. Without thinking, he opens his banking app, his retirement account, his savings, his mortgage balance. He begins doing the math in his head. Where did I go wrong? The strange thing is, nothing in Michael's life changed during those 30 seconds. His paycheck didn't shrink. His retirement account didn't lose money. His home didn't lose value. The only thing that changed was the story he started telling himself. A story millions of people quietly repeat every day. I'm behind. It is one of the most dangerous beliefs in the modern world. Not because it is always true, but because most of the time, it isn't. Today, we are going to uncover the lie that convinces ordinary, hardworking people they are failing, even when they are doing better than they realize. There are two scoreboards in life. The first measures reality, the second measures comparison. Reality asks simple questions. Do you have a roof over your head? Can you pay your bills? Are you slowly building a better future than yesterday? Comparison asks completely different questions. Why is your coworker driving a newer car? How does your friend already own a bigger house? Why does everyone online seem to be getting richer except you? The strange part is that comparison does not care about facts. It only cares about appearances. Imagine two neighbors. Both earn the exact same salary. Both have similar retirement accounts. Both are raising children. One drives a 10-year-old sedan. The other leases a luxury SUV. Every morning, people assume they know which neighbor is wealthier. Most of the time, they are wrong. Because wealth has become incredibly difficult to recognize. We confuse expensive lifestyles with financial security. A luxury car tells you someone bought a luxury car. It does not tell you whether they financed it for 7 years. A large house tells you someone owns a large house. It does not tell you how much of it the bank owns. We see the highlights, never the balance sheet. And yet, we compare our entire lives to those carefully selected moments. Psychologists call this social comparison theory. Thousands of years ago, comparing yourself to your tribe helped you survive. Today, your tribe is millions of strangers across the globe. Every day, your brain compares your ordinary Tuesday morning to someone else's best moment. That comparison was never designed for the human mind, and that is why so many successful people secretly feel unsuccessful. Because the target keeps moving. You earn your first 6 figures. Suddenly, you meet people earning twice as much. You finally buy a house. Now everyone online is renovating theirs. No matter how far you climb, comparison simply moves the finish line. That is why success can feel so strangely empty. Not because you failed, because you unknowingly entered a race with no ending. This brings us to one of the biggest financial myths in existence. The myth of the average. We hear statements like, the average family has, the average homeowner owns, the average 45-year-old is worth. Those numbers sound objective, trustworthy, scientific, but averages have a dangerous habit. They hide reality. Imagine placing 9 ordinary people in a room with 1 billionaire. Technically, the average person in that room becomes extraordinarily wealthy. Did anyone's actual life change? Of course not. Statistics can tell the truth, while still creating a completely false story. That is what happens when people compare themselves to averages they were never meant to resemble. The real question is not, how much does the average person have? The better question is, am I making better decisions than I was 5 years ago? Because that is a comparison you can actually control. Think back to when you were a child. Success looked simple. Adults owned homes, had jobs, raised families. That was enough. Then something changed. Success stopped being measured by stability and started being measured by benchmarks. A normal house became a starter home. A reliable car became old. A comfortable salary became average. Without noticing, we slowly replaced gratitude with comparison. Researchers have repeatedly found that people do not evaluate their financial well-being in isolation. They evaluate it relative to the people around them. If everyone in your office drives luxury cars, your reliable sedan suddenly feels embarrassing, even though it gets you to work just as well. This is known as relative deprivation. It means we do not just measure what we have, we measure what we believe we are missing. And the modern world is an engine designed to convince you that you are missing something. Open social media. You will find entrepreneurs retiring at 35, couples buying dream homes, friends celebrating promotions. What you rarely see are the credit card balances, the sleepless nights, the second mortgages, the anxiety. You see the outcome, never the cost. That is why comparison creates an impossible standard. You are comparing your everyday reality to someone else's highlight reel. No one uploads a photo of the argument they had about money. No one posts a video explaining they financed the vacation they just shared. No one celebrates another month of quietly investing into an index fund, because boring does not get attention. But boring builds wealth. There is another reason people feel behind. It is called hedonic adaptation. Imagine you finally achieve a financial goal you dreamed about for years. Maybe it is buying your first home. Maybe it is earning a six-figure salary. For a little while, it feels incredible. You tell yourself, this is it. Now I will finally feel successful. But something unexpected happens. A few months later, that extraordinary achievement quietly becomes your new normal. The excitement fades, your expectations rise, and before long, you are chasing the next milestone. If success is always somewhere in the future, you will never experience it in the present. Michael did not need another financial headline. He needed perspective. So instead of comparing himself to strangers on a screen, he decided to compare himself to one person, the man he was 10 years ago. At 35, he had almost no retirement savings, a smaller salary, more debt, no emergency fund. Today, his mortgage balance was lower, his income was higher. He had retirement savings growing quietly every month. He was not where he wanted to be, but he was not where he started either. That realization changed everything. Because progress is not always obvious when you are staring at someone else's finish line. Someone will always earn more. Someone will always retire earlier. Someone will always drive something nicer. If your definition of success depends on being ahead of everyone else, success becomes mathematically impossible. Think about the people you admire most, not the richest people, the happiest ones, the people who seem calm, confident, content. When you picture them, what do they actually have? More often than not, they have something far more valuable than luxury. They have enough. And enough is the most underrated word in modern finance, because the world constantly tells you that enough does not exist. Advertising depends on convincing you that you are one purchase away from becoming the person you always wanted to be. Social media depends on convincing you everyone else is already living that life. Together, those forces create a dangerous illusion that no matter how hard you work, you will never catch up. But here is the truth. You are not competing against reality. You are competing against carefully edited illusions. Real wealth often looks surprisingly ordinary. A reliable car paid off years ago, a modest home building equity, automatic investments growing in the background, an emergency fund that nobody applauds, the ability to say no without feeling guilty. These things are not exciting enough to trend online. They are just what create freedom. And freedom has a strange quality. It does not look impressive from the outside. It feels peaceful from the inside. Michael eventually stopped checking headlines every morning, not because he stopped caring about money, because he realized something fundamental. Financial news is designed to capture attention, not provide perspective. Every headline is written to trigger an emotion: fear, envy, urgency. Very few are designed to make you feel calm. Because calm does not generate clicks, but calm builds wealth. One ordinary evening, Michael sat at his kitchen table again, the same table where months earlier he convinced himself he was failing. This time, he opened his retirement account, not to compare it with someone else's, just to see whether it had grown since last month. It had. Not by much, but enough. Enough to remind him that progress does not always announce itself. Sometimes it arrives quietly, a few dollars, a little more equity, one less debt payment. One more month of consistency. Those small victories rarely make headlines, but over 20 years, they become an entirely different life. That is the part people miss. Financial freedom is rarely built through dramatic breakthroughs. It is built through ordinary Tuesdays. Ordinary paychecks, ordinary decisions, repeated again and again, until one day, the life you once worried was not enough becomes the life someone else quietly wishes they had. So before you compare yourself to another financial headline or another social media post, ask yourself one simple question. Am I actually behind, or have I just been looking at the wrong scoreboard? Because your net worth is only one number: your discipline, your consistency, your peace of mind. Those things matter infinitely more. If you enjoyed this documentary and want to understand the psychology behind wealth and real success, subscribe to Wealth Theory. And before you leave, answer this in the comments. What is one financial milestone you have achieved that you are proud of, even if nobody else knows about it? Because sometimes the victories that matter most are the ones no one applauds. Until next time, remember this: the goal is not to become richer than everyone else. The goal is to become wealthier than the person you were yesterday. That is a race you can actually win.